Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another Toddy Walnuts collection overview video. Today I'm going to be showing my horror figures in a video, and this has been a request from a couple different viewers who have commented on some of my videos and said they'd like to see my collection of horror figures. Now, I have shown these off before in other videos, but I'm going to kind of show them all off together in this one video, so it may be kind of long. I'm going to try not to drag the video on. I don't open my figures, so you're going to see all these in packaging. They're in boxes and blister packs. I'm going to try to keep the light reflection off. It's going to be hard to do, but kind of bear with me on that. I do have kind of a mess here on my bed. There's young Miss Hyde. She wants to see what we have. There's a mess here on my bed, but it is organized, so I have them kind of grouped off by character or by franchise. So I'm just going to pull from piles. These are in no particular order. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Kick back, relax, and let's go through and see some of the horror figures that I have in my collection. This first one is from Neca, and this is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Leatherface video game edition from the Atari 2600. And I really like the packaging on this box. It's actually a lot nicer than the figure. The figure is just kind of plain, but it's meant to look like that because that's exactly what the video game figure looked like. It does have a cloth apron. It's more like a vinyl, I guess, or like a fake leather, but the rest of the figure is plastic, and it has that lime green look, just like he looked in the video game. And you can see it has some of the 8-bit lettering and font there, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I think this looks really cool. And I bought a lot of my figures from Toys R Us, and sadly there's no longer a Toys R Us. So in my local area we do have an FYE, but that store is on life support. Literally, it's only a matter of time before that store dies. I'm going to be sad when that goes. I have a hard time saying goodbye to like Blockbuster and Toys R Us. I think my only hope now is going to be like Amazon or eBay. So the next one here is another Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is a blister pack. This is the tuxedo edition, where he's wearing the lady's face with the makeup on it. And I really like the way that these, this is Neca Real Toys. I really like these figures with the real clothing. They look pretty sharp. And they're very detailed because you can see on his knees or his legs there, it looks like there's smeared dirt, like he's been out chasing and hacking people up out in the back 40. But none of these figures have been out of package. That's just the design. Next one is another Leatherface, and this is with a bloody apron. And of course he has his chainsaw there. He also has, I thought that, yeah, he has the little mallet. And I really enjoy the back cards here on these figures. That's why it's hard for me to open these figures up, because I think the card on the back of the blister pack is just as collectible to me as the figure itself. Really like the way those look. And I guess I should have mentioned, and I forgot to, but the background art on this one was done by Nathan Thomas Milliner, who you guys may know is a pretty popular artist. He has done work with Arrow Video and Scream Factory for some of their Blu-ray releases, some of their posters and their commissioned artwork. The next one is one of the newer figures in my collection, and this is the Hitchhiker and Nubbins collector's set. And you guys remember Nubbins, the hitchhiker in the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where he's trying to get Franklin to buy the Polaroid picture, and then he cuts Franklin, and then he wipes blood all over the side of the van as they drive away. But that's an iconic scene. I love that. I love the movie. You guys know that. And this is a really cool set. You can see there that he has the little flip out straight razor and a little, like a little jackknife. Well, that's a really nice little set. This is also Neca Real Toys. The next one is from part 2, and this is Chop Top, played by the great Bill Moseley, and this is a great character in the film. There you can see his plate on his head that he got in Vietnam, and he would take the coat hanger and right there in his little lighter, and he would light the end of the coat hanger, and he would dig it on his scalp and peel meat and eat it off of his scalp. And there are his rose-colored glasses. This was just a great character. Really love this this movie too. There's his wig. Music is my life, man. And here is Leatherface from TCM 3. One of the more underrated films, I think. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, and it was called Leatherface. Very good movie. I like the kind of like the little workshop that Leatherface has in this film, and then the little dark swamp in the back of the house. I think that's a really cool atmosphere to the film. Next, I guess I'll go through my Freddy Krueger stuff, since it's right here next to the TCM stuff. So this is also a video game edition of Freddy Krueger, and you can see that this was a Toys R Us exclusive, and it does have the real cloth for clothing. Love it. And it has the orange and yellow colors that were in the game. Next one is A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. Let's see if I can get a little more detail here. This one also has a removable head where he's kind of yelling. And again, it has that sweater, real cloth, and then it has his jeans. Looks like there's either dried blood or mud on there. And another Nathan Thomas Milliner cover on the back, and that is just beautiful. And there you can see what he looks like when he's posed. Next one is a NECA box figure. And this is a different edition of the game Freddy Krueger. I can't tell if that's cloth or plastic for the shirt, but it looks really good. And there again, it has the font for the 8-bit, or was it 16-bit at this point? I can't remember if this was put out on, I believe it was Nintendo. The next one then is probably my favorite one, and I love this cover, the original theatrical poster for A Nightmare on Elm Street. That is one of the most iconic posters ever. Love it. This is the 30th anniversary figure. This came out in 2014 because the original movie came out in '84. And this one also has a removable head. You can change the head. A couple different heads. And there's a telephone with the tongue coming out. And here's a couple of blister pack editions. This is the Freddy pre-fire. This was before he was burned up. That is the young Fred Krueger. And this is a scene from Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. And also from Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. This is the burned up edition. And you can see he's got that accessory on his right arm. And of course he has his top hat, his old beat up fedora. Let's see, the next little pile we'll get into is it's kind of like a little miscellaneous pile here. This is the only Iron Maiden figure that I have. This is the Trooper. And Iron Maiden has good music, but they always had really good the mascots. The album covers were always the best with the with Eddie and the different characters that he played over the years on the album covers. And you can get just about every cover, I think. They were released for a limited time, and I think they're probably pretty hard to find now, but you can always look on eBay or stuff like that. So, and then the next two, these are the Fiends from the Misfits. And these are also, these are characters from old horror movies. This was the Black Fiend. And he has his little candelabra. And I love the way that these look. They're kind of like the Skeleton Templars, or almost like the from the Blind Dead films. I really like the way that these look. And then here's the Red Fiend. And that artwork in the back is just amazing. Another thing too is these figures can get quite dusty, and I think it would drive me nuts if I had these out and I would have to keep dusting them periodically, because there's so many little nooks and crannies and crevices to get dust out. I think it's much easier for me to just wipe the box down when need be. The next pile here will be the Ash versus Evil Dead / Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 stuff. I only have a few things here, but first one is Henrietta from Evil Dead 2, which is kind of a comedy horror. Evil Dead 2 was, whereas part 1 was strictly horror. It's really cool. There are some of the other figures you can get. Hiro Ash, Evil Ash. I don't have very many Funko Pops, but I do have one of the Deadites here, and these were gifts to me from my children over the years. They don't get them anymore, but for a couple years, or at least for like a year or two, they picked me up a couple, like on Father's Day or my birthday or something like that. But so all the figures, the Vinyl Pop figures I have, were gifts to me. I never did collect them, just the ones that they got for me. Here is Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn, and this is a really nice box too. I love the box design. And there's the theatrical poster for Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn. And there we have Hiro Ash. Lots of accessories here. There's the tape recorder. There's the Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead. You get some weapons and interchangeable hands. There's the shotgun. And there's the Evil Ash head that you can put on if you choose. If you open up your figures and would like to put that on, you can do so. Here's Hiro Ash again, Evil Dead 2. This is the blister pack. There you can see the Deadite elk or deer in the background, his shotgun, chainsaw arm, and the disheveled clothing and wounds on his body. And then I have a couple from the television show. This was from season 1. This is the Value Stop, Ash Williams, with a couple of accessories. I don't know if you can see, but there's that little doll that he got into a fight with in the warehouse. That was a pretty funny scene. This was a great show. I was sad to see that it was canceled after season 3, I believe. There's how you can kind of use the accessories if you can put them on his nose, I guess, like the fight like they had in the warehouse. And then here is Hiro Ash Williams. He's got the gray sideburns now. Pretty cool little figures. And these were also put up by Neca. So I think next we're going to get into the Universal Monsters, because I have a few of these. This is probably the biggest portion of my collection. And the first one here is the Boris Karloff mummy. That looks really, really nice. And these Universal Monsters figures are very, very heavy. Very solid figures. That is awesome. I wanted to get that Frankenstein, but by the time I went to get it, it was gone, and they were going for pretty good money on eBay. I want to say they were going around the 40 mark, 45. And I think these were about 32, 35 in the stores. So I think maybe it was 50 online or something like that. But here is Creature from the Black Lagoon. This is really, really nice. And again, it's very, very heavy. It almost feels like it's ceramic, but it's just a hard, heavy plastic. See if I can pull these out without disturbing Peanut. She was using the Universal Monsters as a pillow. The next one is the Mole People. And these are blister packs now, and these come with little accessories like this is a Toys R Us exclusive, but they come with like a little base that you can stand the figure on. These are fun little sci-fi drive-in style films. The Mole People. And these are from Diamond Select Toys. Kind of a rival of Neca, I guess. The next one is called Lucy Westerna, and I didn't really know much about Lucy, but I found out that she's a pretty popular character in some of the early like Dracula movies, and she would be victimized quite a bit. Like Dracula would stop by and have a snack on her. She would be his snack, I guess. And then she's got a whole belt full of, I guess, vampire hunting tools. She's got some stakes and looks like guns and different little gizmos that she uses. She's got a couple of blades up there in the corner. She is Lucy Westerna, Monster Hunter. The next one is the Hunchback of Notre Dame, or Notre Dame, however you choose to pronounce it. Comes with the little crown and his hideous face. Again, he has a little kind of a base so you can stand him up and pose him or display him. Diamond Select Toys. Here's a very popular and favorite character of many people. This is the Wolfman Lon Chaney Jr. Looks like it comes with a little booklet in the background and then a little base that you can stand them on. These figures are really, really nice. Very, very collectible. They're a little pricey, but they're well worth it. These are not just toys that kids play with. These are more or less just collectibles for adults, I would say. Here is Mr. Hyde. He comes with a couple different things. Here he's got his top hat. Got a piece of chimney and a little base he can stand on. He's got a little walking cane or walking stick. And 3 more here for the Universal. And this one is really cool. This is called the Metaluna Mutant from this island Earth. And it is really, really nice looking. Nice looking figure. Comes with cloth clothing there. And this is also Diamond Select Toys. Here's another mummy. It has a very good likeness to Boris Karloff, who played the mummy. It's a very, very nice figure. He also has a little piece of plate there that he can stand on. Little base. And the last one for the Universal is Phantom of the Opera. And that looks really, really good too. You can see his cloth clothing there. His pants and his little patent leather shoes. Would have loved to get the Bride of Frankenstein. Unfortunately, she was hard to track down in my area anyway. And there you can see her. That would have been a beautiful piece to get. And I also did not get Frankenstein's monster. I would have loved to get that one as well. Alright, let's see, what do we do next? I'll show you guys the rest of my Funko Pops that I have. And like I said, these were all gifts from my children to me for different Father's Days and birthdays. Here's the Freddy Krueger. Next one is Ash from the Evil Dead. The next one is Jack Skellington from A Nightmare Before Christmas. Love that movie. This is the Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, Jack Skellington. And the last one is Leatherface. I do have a Jason Voorhees one. I'm going to show you guys that at the end because I have a little display with some Jason stuff on there, and that's where the Jason Pop is. So there you can see the original poster art there. Very, very cool. So those were the Pops. This next piece is a beautiful piece. This is the Godzilla, Monster of Monsters from Neca. This is one of the bigger boxes that you can get from Neca. It's a little bit bigger than the normal, like I'll show you the difference between. You can see that the Godzilla box is quite bigger, and that's because the figure itself is pretty impressive. And this is a video game edition of the Godzilla, and this is a beautiful piece. I love it. It's kind of like a bluish gray color to it. I don't know if the camera is really picking it up, but again, you can see the font for the video game style lettering, and you can see the game board. A game I've never played, so I don't know if that's actually what the game looked like, or I was aware of it, I just never played it. So, and I don't remember what it looked like. Articulated tail. Just a beautiful, beautiful piece. I really like the way that looks. That is Godzilla, Monster of Monsters. And the next one, you guys just saw it. This is the NECA Real Toys Batman. This is another beautiful piece. I love the way this looks. This is another video game edition of the movie, of the figure. And it just looks really cool with that different shades of purple and then that blue kind of splashed in there. It just, it really accents that piece. I love the way it looks. And again, this is a game I haven't played, and I don't know what it looked like. I was aware of it, Nintendo 64, I believe, or maybe it was even Atari, but it's a game I've never played before. Here is a vinyl figure. This is not a Funko Pop. I don't know if it's a kind of a knockoff or what, but this was, I think I bought this at Spencer Gifts about maybe 6-7 years ago, maybe. Let me see. Well, it says 2014. It must have been 4 years ago. It's just, time's kind of flying, but this is the Chucky. And this one's quite heavy compared to the regular Funko Pop. It's almost like this is a more solid plastic, but I like the way that looks, so I bought it. I didn't really have any Chucky in my collection, so I grabbed this. This is from a company called Mezco Toys. The next one was a gift from a fellow YouTuber some years back. I don't remember exactly which one of the fellow YouTubers gifted this to me, but I want to say this was like about 3 or 4 years ago. And this is a Mcfarlane Monsters Twisted Fairy Tales, the Pumpkin Eater. You can see that it's from the Spawn line, and it's, I don't know, some kind of a ghoul with an axe in his hand, and he's got a body stuffed into a jack-o'-lantern. A lot of different body parts and a lot of gooey goodness inside there. So I thought that was pretty cool. There's some other ones you can get. Hansel and Gretel. You can get Miss Muffet. And you can get Red Riding Hood. And Humpty Dumpty. This is something, this kind of reminds me of something that Derek and Mrs. B would get in their collection. This kind of like a comic book style horror figure. Maybe they do have some of these already, I'm not sure. I know they have a lot of stuff in their collection. Another one of my favorites here, and this is Bub from Day of the Dead. This was a really nice figure. This one was kind of pricey, because by the time I picked this one up, it had been out for a couple of years already, and I guess when they go out of print, they call them retired. So that apparently this was a retired figure, so I had to pay a little bit more for it. And this came out in 2008. It's from a company called Amok Time Monstars. But I must have got this probably about 2 or 3 years after it had come out already, and so I had to pay a little extra money. There you can see the gun that they told them how to point a gun. They taught them how to shave, put the little headphones on them in the movie. So that is Bub from George A. Romero's Day of the Dead, 1985. This next little stack here will be my Predator and Predator 2 figures. Alright. This first one is another nice boxed figure from Neca. And I believe, again, this is a video game variant of the figure. And it looks really, really sharp with the purple and that blue. That looks really good. And again, this is another video game I did not play. I do love video games, it's just that I haven't played any of these that I've shown. I actually don't even remember playing A Nightmare on Elm Street. I do remember playing the Friday the 13th game back in the day. And that seemed like it was kind of hard, if I remember. This is a beautiful piece right here. This is the comic book edition from Dark Horse Comics, put out by Neca, another fat box. This is probably even a little bit bigger than the Godzilla box that I just showed you guys. And this is the comic book variant of the figure. And you can see they have a kind of a panel here on the side of what he looks like in the comic books. And then you can see with the rendition of him, the design from the creators at Neca. It looks really nice. And I like that artwork in the background. It's like a diorama. These box figures are really nice. They're already displayed. You just kind of open them up and put them on your shelf somewhere, and it's already... There's some other stuff you can get from Aliens, Predator. The next three here are blister packs, and this is the Lost Predator from Predator 2. Look at the little beady eyes, the big jaws. Predator was always a creepy, scary character, these Predator monsters. If I had to choose between Predator and Alien, or Aliens, I would choose Predator all day long. This one is called the Bad Blood Predator. It has over 25 points of articulation, it says. And just look how designed and beautiful that looks. Very, very detailed. And the packaging is way cool. And the last one for the Predator is a twin pack. This was another Toys R Us exclusive. This is the Jungle Hunter on the left and the City Hunter on the right. Let me see if I can get a better angle here to show you. Comes with some accessories and some skulls and a pretty nice looking background. It's hard to tell on this angle with the camera with the glare and all that, but the packaging looks really nice. And so basically that was it for the horror figures until I show you guys my Friday the 13th stuff at the end. But I do have some more things to show that are part of my figures. These are the Tim Burton Frankenweenie black and white figures. You got the Turtle Monster, Afterlife Sparky, Vampire Cat, Hamster Mummy, and Were-Rat. That's the little Frankenweenie collector's pack. And then I have the other one that you just saw in the back there. This is the Live Sparky, Victor, Edgar, Persephone, and that is the cast of Frankenweenie. I'm a big Tim Burton fan. I really love the work that he does. And this last pile here is all of my Hobbit stuff. There's Bolg and Gandalf the Grey. And you can see some of the accessories that they have. These movies are so damn good. These the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings movies are excellent. And here we have Bilbo Baggins and Gollum. Really nice. I wish it would pick up, I wish my camera would pick up more detail than it does, but then I have what they call a deluxe collector set, and this one has Bilbo, Thorin, Keely, Feely, and Dwalin the dwarfs, and they all have their hammers and weapons. And the last piece I have for the Hobbit is a really big, heavy piece. And there is the Goblin King. Look at how big he is. He's huge. This box is really heavy because it's just solid plastic. And then you have Thorin Oakenshield, to be exact. That's that. So that is my little figure collection. I'm gonna turn over and show you guys. Come with me for a minute. Take a little walk over here. I do have a couple figures that I hung up, and this is the 2015 convention exclusive Neca figure of Pamela Voorhees and young Jason. And there you have part 2. Sackhead Jason with the cloth clothing. Comes with a machete, pitchfork, and pickaxe. And then I have part 5. There's Roy with his blue mask. A couple of bloody weapons. And then I have the video game edition of Jason. Cloth clothing, and then I have a couple of the Neca masks up there. I have Final Chapter. There's part 5. There's the remake, and there's the video game. There's part 3. There's Jason Takes Manhattan, and there's another part 5. And then if you come down here, this is my big boy. This is Jason from part 3. This is Legend of Crystal Lake. And this is a really nice deluxe edition. The weapons here are made out of metal. You have a big machete, and then you have a spear gun. And I did a video all on its own about this figure, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but this is the pride and joy of my collection. And then I have I don't know what that noise is. I can hear kind of like electronics type noise. Here's the Jason Voorhees vinyl pop. And then I have the Neca video game figure. What the heck is that noise? I'm not sure what that is, guys. Here is Jason from part 3 again. Played by the late great Richard Brooker. It kind of has a cool 3D lenticular cover. And then I have another part 6. Jason Lives. That's pretty cool. Got his little headstone and more weapons. And this is Jason from part 3. A couple more things to show you guys. I do have a Freddy Krueger here that I bought at Walgreens several years ago, and it has a little button on its toe, and he says things from the movie.
Oh, what's wrong? Did someone have a nightmare? You're mine now, Kitty. I'm gonna split you in two.
That's my favorite one. I'm going to split you in two. And then I have a Jason one also, but I think I need to change the batteries in this one. It also has a little button on his toe there. So that was it, guys. Thank you for spending a little time with me tonight or during the day or whenever you're watching this, but it means a lot to me that you guys stop by and check me out. I do have a couple things in the works. I'm going to be showing my Kino collection pretty soon. I started to compile that already. These are some of the titles you guys will be seeing in an upcoming video. I'm also going to be doing a video of some of the things I'm going to be selling, and I'm going to divide that into two different groups. The first one is going to be comic books, so some of you guys out there that are comic book heads and comic book fans, you might want to tune into that. And probably in a video sometime next week, I'm going to be selling some steel books and some doubles that I have, so I will do that in a separate video. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Take care. And for Hyde, we wish you guys a good night and a safe weekend. Take care. Hope you enjoyed the video.
Ugh.